Avenida Paulista was deserted, save for a few slow-moving cars and the distant wail of police sirens. Alex, dressed in dark clothes and a leather jacket, hurried across the sidewalk, illuminated by the glow of buildings and streetlights. The air was colder than usual, and the sound of his boots echoed across the avenue. The scent of asphalt and the city's trees mingled with the aroma of closed cafes and restaurants, creating a sense of loneliness in the bustling heart of the city. He stopped in front of an old building, its weathered stone facade a stark contrast to the surrounding glass structures. Suddenly, under the light of a lamppost, an older man with white hair and dark glasses appeared. Without a word, he handed Alex a rusty key and a crumpled piece of paper with handwritten coordinates. Before Alex could ask anything, the man vanished into the shadows, leaving only the echo of a dry laugh. Alex tucked the objects into his pocket, feeling the weight of the key pressing against his thigh, and headed towards the subway station. On the empty train, he unfolded the paper and noticed a crude drawing of a pyramidal structure with annotations in a language he didn't recognize. At home, he placed the key on the table and spent hours researching ancient symbols on his computer until a cryptic message appeared on the screen. The sepulchres were sealed to contain that which cannot be named. The next day, Alex followed the coordinates to a bustling local market, filled with stalls of fresh fruit and colorful fabrics. There, a woman with short hair and a faded dress, named Mirella, offered him a pair of slightly crooked metal-framed reading glasses. He hesitated, but something in her persistence made him accept. When he put them on, the colors around him intensified, and the faded lettering on a stall's wall became clear, revealing a sequence of numbers that matched the coordinates on the paper. Mirella smiled, as if she already knew what he would see, and murmured, "They were here before you." Alex followed the new numbers to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city, where he found a reinforced metal door, devoid of any visible handle or lock. The key he had received the previous night fit perfectly into a nearly invisible slot, releasing a silent mechanism. Inside, covered in dust, were a stack of documents and a detailed map of subterranean tunnels. Examining the papers, he realized that all the reports mentioned an unknown material, referred to only as metallic substance, used to seal deep chambers beneath the city. One document contained a warning: "What enters does not return, but what is sealed can be observed." On the third night, Alex and Mirella entered the tunnels, guided by the weak light of their flashlights. The walls shimmered with veins of the indestructible material, reflecting patterns that seemed to change as they moved forward. In a central chamber, they found a row of sarcophagi, each marked with symbols identical to those on the glasses. When he touched them, Alex felt a strange vibration, and whispering voices echoed in his mind, speaking in dead languages. Mirella, using the glasses, translated fragments. "They are not dead, only waiting." One of the sarcophagi began to crack, releasing a dark mist that quickly dissipated. At the same instant, the tunnel behind them collapsed, blocking their exit. As they scrambled to find another route, Alex noticed that Mirella's glasses now displayed images superimposed on reality. Figures of humans drawn on ancient walls, all pointing to a single exit. Emerging into the surface, they were met by a group of men in dark suits who confiscated the glasses and documents without a word. Days later, Alex returned to the market, but Mirella's stall was gone, leaving only a note tucked into a crack in the pavement. "The sepulchres are not prisons, they are doors." He never saw the glasses or the documents again, but sometimes, as he walked through the city center, he felt a slight pressure in his pocket, as if the key was still there, though he knew he had lost it. Alex followed Mirella through narrow corridors, smelling of mildew and damp earth, the glasses now clinging to his face like a second skin. The light of their flashlights revealed inscriptions on the walls, symbols that pulsed beneath the glow of the metallic material. At one point, Mirella stopped and pointed to a side chamber, where a stone altar held an ancient book with metal pages. Touching it, Alex saw images projected into the air, scenes of a civilization using the substance to build impossible structures, then sealing something beneath them. A figure repeated in the images, a man with glasses identical to the ones he now wore, observing the work with an expression of urgency. Mirella whispered, "They knew something was coming. It wasn't an enemy, but a consequence." The group of men in dark suits reappeared at the entrance of the chamber, blocking their path. One, taller than the others, spoke in a metallic voice. "You should not be here." Alex noticed the men avoided touching the walls, as if the material burned them. Mirella pulled Alex into a side passage, but the tunnels began to shift, walls moved and created new paths. The glasses showed luminous arrows on the floor, guiding them to a room where a single sarcophagus stood, its seal intact. Approaching it, Alex heard clear voices in his mind. "Do not open. Do not open. Do not open." But Mirella was already removing the seal with a knife, her hand firm. "If we don't open, they will win," she said, without explanation. Inside the sarcophagus, there was only a mirror. When Alex looked, he didn't see his own reflection, but the man with glasses from the visions, holding a pocket watch with the same pyramid symbol. The mirror shattered, and a dark substance flowed from it, forming a pool that began to move towards the exit. Mirella grabbed Alex's arm. "Run!" The two followed the pool, which snaked through the tunnels as if it had consciousness of its own, until they emerged into a public square, where the pool dissolved under the sunlight. A fallen newspaper headline read, "Paulista Avenue Revitalization Project Advances with New Materials." The photo showed the man with glasses next to smiling authorities. Alex touched his face, feeling a scar that wasn't there before. Mirella vanished into the crowd, leaving only a fragment of the mirror in his pocket. Looking at it, he glimpsed the same pyramid symbol, now etched into his iris. Alex pocketed the mirror fragment and followed the address from the newspaper photo, a modern building in the city center. The lobby was empty, except for a receptionist who didn't even look up when he entered. He took the elevator to the top floor, where a bronze plaque announced Project Primordial, Historical Restoration. The door opened on its own, revealing a room with walls lined with the same indestructible material as the sepulchres. Men in dark suits moved silently, carrying folders and samples of the substance. In the center, the man with glasses from the visions, now recognizable as the same man from Avenida Paulista, analyzed a holographic projection of the city. Alex approached, the scar on his face throbbing. "What have you sealed?" he asked. The man smiled, without surprise. "Nothing you understand. The substance is not to contain, but to transform. What you call sepulchres are resonance chambers." He pointed to the hologram, where bright points appeared where the sarcophagi had been violated. "You accelerated the process. The city is preparing." Mirella appeared behind Alex, holding the confiscated documents. "He lies," she said, handing him a paper. It was a list of names, all crossed out except hers and his. "Witnesses," she explained. "When the city transforms, only those who have seen the sepulchres will remain conscious. The rest will be rewritten." The man with glasses stepped forward, but the material in the walls began to vibrate, emitting a low hum. The floor trembled, and the hologram crumbled into pixels. Alex ran to the window, seeing Avenida Paulista below, asphalt cracking, trees sprouting in impossible shapes, cars stopped with motionless drivers, like statues. Mirella pulled him towards an emergency staircase. "There is no time," she said as they descended. "The substance is alive. It chooses what to preserve." In the street, the dark mist from the sarcophagus already covered the city, enveloping buildings and people in a translucent membrane. Alex touched the substance, feeling a connection to everything around him. Memories of thousands of lives, buried secrets, the weight of what had been sealed. Mirella vanished into the mist, her voice echoing, "The sepulchres are only the beginning." Days later, the city returned to normal, or what appeared normal. Alex returned to Avenida Paulista, where the old building now displayed a plaque reading Heritage Restored. His scar was gone, but when he looked in the bathroom mirror, he saw the pyramid symbol in his left eye, glowing faintly. In the street, people passed by wearing glasses identical to the ones he had found, all walking towards the same building. He didn't follow them. At home, he found an envelope on his door, containing a new key and a paper reading Phase 2, Sepulchres Opened. At the market, a stall sold glasses with crooked frames. The vendor smiled, revealing a scar identical to Alex's. "Ready?" he asked, extending a pair. Alex recoiled, but the man was gone. The envelope in his hand dissolved into particles of the substance, leaving only a metallic taste in his mouth. He walked towards the horizon, where the mist gathered again, and knew that the sepulchres had never been sealed, only waiting to be reopened.